That is right. It's another beautiful Wheel Wednesday Behind the Wheel podcast. I am Luis from Koenig, and this is my homie from another Momi.
Yeah, something like that. Rich from Koenig. What's going on, everybody?
How you doing, Rich?
I'm feeling great today. How
Chilling,
about you?
bro?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man.
Well, I'm excited because in just a couple days, me and my boy over here and the rest of the team, Max and everything, we're going to be going to SEMA, and I am completely flustered.
Completely flustered.
Yes, man, we got a lot going on, and it's exciting, but at the same time, you know, when you're doing the job, it always gets a little flustering, and then once you finish it up and you're there and it has it all set up and all that good stuff, then you get to enjoy and go see some cool GR Corollas and all that cool stuff. I'm excited for that.
I'm excited, man. Coast to coast, going to Las Vegas. First time.
Yeah, boy. That's your first time?
First time going to Vegas.
What are you going to be doing over there, bro?
I don't know. Looking at GR Corollas or something.
Gambling? Spending some bread?
Yeah, we'll see.
Some cheese?
We'll see.
Some donuts?
All the above. All the above.
All right, well, so we have a cool podcast today. I'm actually excited for this one. So if you don't know, now you know. We're talking about Gridlife GLTC, the Gridlife Touring Cup, and we have two of basically the champ and the runner-up, the most dominating force in the whole GLTC, which is ASM Motorsports. We have Tom O'Gorman and Andy Smedegard. Can I get a clap, please?
I'm gonna give it a clap. There we go, right there.
And there's a whole intro for them and everything. Max coming in clutch, broski. Hold on, I can't even put my headphones
That's
on.
all good. Here we go.
What's up, fellas? How are you?
How we doing?
How's everything? How's life after being the most dominating force in grid life? Literally, giving nobody a chance. My man, there was 40 races. Did you know he won 20 of them? 20.
2-0.
And he
Podium.
won 6.
Bro, what the?
Over half the races, these two guys.
It's like, did you guys even want to give anybody else a chance? I think it's just, you guys were just like, you know what, forget it. Everybody else, just watch us win. I think they even gave up.
We let our teammates Matt and Robert win a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Yep. Well, so I want to get right into it. First, I'm going to ask Tom, you know, because I think this is one of the craziest. Obviously, we kind of covered a little bit of this on the last podcast, but since you won, I think it's time to kind of reiterate it. And then also having your teammate with you kind of maybe give us a different perspective. What was different this year as opposed to every other year that you've done in motorsport? Because honestly, man, you were completely dominant. What do you think was different? Was it a mindset? Was it just the car? Was it the team? Was it just what is it exactly that made you get this far?
So I feel like every single year is kind of a big new lesson, all the way back to like 2015 when I started wheel-to-wheel racing, and I started to try to get into pro racing really fast. So there was a crash course like 2015. I can tell you specifically the lessons I learned 2016, 2017, 2018. So all of those are like, everything has its own kind of feel and personality depending on the year and the lessons learned and the challenges presented. And I feel like it's been kind of a 2+ year build from buying my first GLTC and going through kind of trying to run that car on my own. And that was its own challenges. And then trying to, you know, get involved with ASM guys, but it was my own car. And then that culminating in kind of crashing it, unfortunately. And then this year was like the first like year that we went all in. I think like we kind of knew exactly that we were going to go to all the races. We wanted to go to every single event, and we both built kind of the team aspect more, and the whole team was all in the entire time. Like there was not a single moment that everybody was not fully invested, and I think that's why it ended up being so successful. And I was the fortunate one to get the car that I got to drive and to be in a position to win the most races. But across the board, we won 31 of the 40 races across the team.
That's incredible.
And we all podiumed in the top, 5 and 10 and top 3. 5 of us finished in the top 10 in points. So it's like this whole group just literally went in like full force. And most of it comes from Andy and just bleeds out across everybody trying so hard and everybody pushing each other to get better. And we all have incredible race cars that Zach and Matt and all them won't stop talking about how amazing their cars are. And like that's where I think all of it came from, because it wasn't just like, it's not like I went and did something in a vacuum for sure. It was like a huge investment from everybody.
So, and one of the things that I find interesting and what I talk to Andy about, and then I talk to other people about, I think all communities have like this person that always kind of just never boasts about themselves, but is the guru. And I'm hearing that Andy is that man a lot of the times, man. Even to the point where like my fellas went over there to, these guys went over to Lime Rock, and I didn't get to go because I was working here, but they even felt that aura around you, Andy. And I kind of want to just talk about what makes you, and I think I want to also get Tom's perspective on this as well. What makes Andy the guy? Why is he the guy when it comes to being on this track? Because I feel like you have a lot of guys under the ASM banner that are champions. What sets you apart from everyone else? Just let's say that part. Is that okay to ask?
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's okay.
I just don't know if I can answer.
It's okay to answer it. Sometimes it's okay to understand that you're the guy, you know?
Why are you so amazing?
Yes, exactly.
I really don't think I am. It's just you surround yourself with the right people, and I think it's a weird circle, and it kind of keeps spiraling. Everyone kind of feeds off each other's energy, and it just keeps going. And I mean, I think that's how we've done all the things we have done. Just the right group of people around us, and everyone keeps pushing each other. Yeah, I mean, it's not just me. There's no way it's just me. It's everything kind of coming together.
So Tom, why would you, and from your perspective, why do you think, like when it comes to the team, is he like would you say he's the team leader and kind of sets it towards a specific direction, or is it just you guys have a really good team together at ASM that kind of everybody plays their part?
Well, the part that I love about it, I think from the outside looking in, there's the perception that it is like a race prep shop and a team, like an unmatchable like force almost. And the reality is it's a bunch of enthusiasts who would be doing this no matter what on their own at whatever level they can, at the best they can. And to what he just said, surrounding yourself with the right people, we just happen to all find each other and end up doing the same thing that we would be doing off by ourselves. You know, Zach would be driving his M3 at BMW club events, and Robert would be still trying to, drift at in Oklahoma or whatever. Like, all of us have that inherently built in, that this is what we would want to be spending our time doing. But the fact that we all found each other, and then we have, I believe that Andy's presence is just kind of a consistent like push for everybody to be doing something all the time, because he's always doing something all the time. So having somebody to feed off that energy all the time, on top of somebody who is capable of making all of our cars as good as they can be, and capable of all of us kind of sharing all the information that we can as much as we can. It kind of came up actually on our own podcast the other week about like, how does a privateer take on a prep shop? And we have the perception of being a prep shop, but we are, I believe, a bunch of privateers who ended up kind of finding each other and making each other better, because we're all trying to do the same thing, and now we all have the same car, and we're all have the same goals and that kind of thing. Versus if we were all off doing our own thing, we would not be nearly as strong as we all are, except for probably Andy, because he's the one that knows how to make the cars run as well as they run and all that. So like that's huge. But the fact that we all are, there's no one that really sits idle and does nothing while the rest of the team has stuff to do. Like it's the best analogy would be like, it's the only group of people I know that everybody races to get the check at dinner, to beat everybody else to the check, because that's how much everybody wants to like prop everybody else up, I guess. Like it's kind of an odd dynamic, but it's like really special.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things about running a team. It's not easy, and that's the reason why I ask these type of questions, because it's to run a team, or to have a team in any capacity or family, whatever you guys may call it. It's not an easy task. There's a lot of personalities, a lot of ways that things could go wrong. So for a team like yourself to be so successful, I find it very interesting to see you guys working together. I mean, I literally saw Robert Thorne giving an interview, and instead of he won that race, instead of saying like, oh, I won that, he was just like, my team is the best. Like, running with Tom, it was like, and I'm hearing him just boast about his teammates. And to me, that is a special, special thing that ASM has right now. And I think you guys are in that pocket where it's like everything is working, and that it's a what is it? sight for sore eyes. Is
Yeah.
that the right way? The right words?
I think it's really interesting because I'll tell you from an outsider perspective, it's funny that you say that because it does seem like ASM is kind of like a race prep shop. That's the way it kind of comes off. Like it almost seems like if you have an S2000 and you want to be better, bring it to ASM. These are your guys, but you're saying that's not really the case, and it's really just a group of guys that are all kind of share the same kind of goals and whatnot. And together, you guys are able to produce such a strong team.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I kind of want to.
I don't want to say.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Andy. Sorry.
Sorry. I don't want to say we're not a race prep shop. We are a race prep shop, but
Mhm.
we're not as big as probably most think we are. You know,
Okay.
it's just really a two-man operation inside the shop.
Oh wow.
So what?
Yeah.
Go
The
ahead.
part about it that I mean more than that is like we're not a lot of those race prep shops, they have a bunch of customers that just come in and kind of expect the service to be done. The service being the trackside, the car's ready, that, you know, there's not this, those people may not be functioning at the same sort of events without their prep shop, where I think all of us come from being able to do that and having done that. So the amount of support that we all give each other is where I mean, we're not the normal prep shop, but I mean, he absolutely is still that, but it's more. I think that's where it comes
Got
in.
it. Now, I had to ask. Now, besides the two of you guys, I just want to, Robert, Matt, and Zach. You guys, everyone's running S2000s, right? Is that correct?
No, Robert runs E36.
Oh, he has
right?
a Beamer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so but the other two are both S2000s.
Yeah.
So do you feel like the S2000 for you, like you've kind of like how would I say, like almost like perfected, whatever kind of craft in particular with that platform of the S2000? Like, did they already have the car? Did they default to it, or was it something that you guys picked up saying like this is, if you run this car, we can really make it work?
Yeah, most of the reason why a lot of the guys went with S2000s is because that's kind of what I've started with and kind of built kind of proved that platform a bit, and it was just easier to replicate what I already know. So a lot of the cars, Matt's, Zach's, they're all based off of like Tom and I's S2000s that we've kind of, finely tuned, perfected, tried different parts, figure out what works, and then that stuff trickles down to the rest of the guys. So it was just easier to all kind of run the same car because we get to share, resources, share, knowledge, setup, all that stuff. So that was probably the primary reason why everyone went S2000s. Not necessarily because S2000 might be the best car, but it's just kind of what we had, what we started with, what we knew best, and just kind of went from there.
So, and we've had Tom on the podcast a few times, and we've kind of gotten his journey, what he's done. And honestly, if you haven't gotten to check that podcast out and you're listening, go check that out. Tom tells us about his journey and everything that he's been through to get to where he is, and I think this man is just going to continue rising to the top. But I kind of wanted to get into your story, Andy. Obviously, ASM Motorsports stands for Andy Smedegard Motorsports. How did that begin? Where, why, and where, how?
Well, it started really out of necessity when I wanted to do more driving events. I actually I didn't start with like modifying and building a car. I started with doing some driving events, started with autocross and wanted to get into like bigger track day stuff. I didn't necessarily have the money to pay someone else to do this stuff to my car. So I had to kind of just learn and figure it out myself. So I started just, figuring it out. And then I would do events and do fairly well. And whenever you do pretty well, you get other people that, look up to that and want maybe that same stuff done to their car. And just started getting people asking, if I could, do what I did to my car on their car. And started as just a side hustle. And then that kind of started taking over and was kind of getting annoyed working normal 40-hour week job, plus then doing another 30 hours of side hustle, and it turned into a full-time job about 4.5 years ago. So the actual shop has only been open for about 4 years.
So and to get into what exactly, so ASM Motorsports obviously is, like you said, a prep shop, but you guys offer more than that. You guys offer classes, you guys offer engine parts, you guys offer a whole shop. Like, when did you go into that? Why'd you go into that?
Well, a lot of the other avenues that we've kind of went down are pretty new. A lot of it happened when I met Tom. That was maybe about 2 years ago. I also, Zach, one of our other team members, he's very good with business. So he's kind of been my business mentor and giving me new ideas. So we started to create other, basically cover the whole spectrum of performance driving. So from the hosting events, from the prepping the car, from the trackside support, from the actual driver coaching. So, I mean, we want to be able to do everything. We want to make you faster and not have to rely on any outside sources. We can kind of cover everything if we have to.
Awesome. So one of the things that we got from the last podcast is Tom's perspective on how he met you. But I wanted to get the perspective of how you met him. Like, I
Sure.
kind of vaguely know exactly what happened, but I kind of want to get it from you. See where you saw it and how you saw that.
So we really were around each other a lot without really knowing each other. I mean, we knew maybe of each other. I knew he was the guy to beat, and he was the guy I was kind of always, maybe he doesn't know this, but kind of always chasing. I knew he was the, go-to hot shoe guy, and I always kind of wanted to beat him. But it really happened about 2.5 years ago. I saw him with his S2000 that he bought, that he was doing the GLTC stuff with, and just struggling with a lot of mechanical stuff. And then eventually he had an engine failure, and I kind of wanted to help him. I wanted him on track because I wanted to race against him. So I saw him with his car, kind of talked to him a bit, and eventually that led to K-swapping his S2000, and we just started talking more, dealing with, started doing some business stuff together, and kind of just snowballed from there. And now he's a big part of ASM.
Now, and as I mentioned before, I think one of the most important things when it comes to, and I think this is part of your success, I would assume, just because I think when a group can get together and help each other out, and that's the one thing I love about GLTC, and I notice a lot of the times that's how I feel like you guys formed in some capacity, is there's a community that always constantly helps each other. You guys are always like, if someone needs a part, someone will come and help and kind of join together and then band together, and all of a sudden you see a team forming. From the success that you guys have had, what are some recommendations that you would give? Let's say if me and him wanted to start a racing team, how would you guys go, kind of do like a master class of how to do that appropriately? Tom, let's just start with Tom.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna just start with the so big picture stuff. I think my number one rule always when I was on my own, and I think we follow that without discussing it now, is to try to be nice to everybody all the time. Because if you're nice to everybody, people will be nice back to you. You don't cause problems. Series people, tech people, other competitors, track people, literally everybody. Just very simple. One of the first things that pops up in my mind, setting time aside to prepare appropriately. Andy Hollis was big in teaching me how to function off of checklists at the track, and I think we've gotten pretty good at that now within the team. Andy's sister Kirsten has a binder for every single car, that between every single session that the binder gets gone through, and the binder stays with the cars between sessions. And also for yourself as a driver to set time aside for, first of all, like reviewing your own video, reviewing your own data. That was something I got pretty poor at over the previous 2 years when I was focusing more, especially last year, I was focusing more on trying to make sure I was doing a good job coaching others, that I completely forgot to even put a camera in my car most of the time, let alone look at the video. And then I would watch it back if I did remember to put the camera in the car and be like, what was I thinking in that spot? Or like, why did I wasn't doing a lot of self-push for that. And also to have that time set aside so that it's specifically for your weekend. Like you can't just like try to remember to do it, like set the time aside. And I think all of us do that to an extent, and then we discuss it amongst each other too, which is that next layer of like, you can do it by yourself, but if you have 6 people doing it together, then it gets even better because other people will catch things. And I love watching, like, I don't always have the most time to coach the drivers on the team the way that I would like to, because I'm working with clients that are maybe not on the team that I have already, signed up to work with, but I'll see them working with each other, and they'll be watching each other's videos. And like Dana will be watching our friend Derek's video, and Derek will give feedback on Dana's video, and then Alex is over their shoulder giving feedback from what he experiences in Super K. And like seeing everybody like feed off of that is super important. So like being open with everybody about your video and your data and all that. I don't know. Those were some of the things that popped to mind, but
yeah. How about you, Andy? Like, I noticed, one of the things is this something that just happened naturally? Because, for example, we were at Formula Drift and you guys were there. Like, you guys were there supporting Rob, Is this just something that you guys do? I just find it fascinating because not all teams are built this way. So is it just a consistent thing that you guys want to support each other, or is it just for the love of the game?
Probably a bit of both, but I mean, I feel like it's the law of attraction where we all want to help each other, and it's all very like-minded people within our group. So if you kind of share that same, desire to help others, you'll fit right in.
Nice. Yeah. So,
and I think that extends probably beyond even just within our group. I think a lot of.
Was someone saying something? Oh
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, okay, so now looking at that, and I obviously you guys are being very dominant, and I would say that the Touring Cup, what does the future hold for? Like, I know you guys sat down and said, "Oh my God, look, we literally took over the top 10 when it comes to this whole thing."
Mm-hmm.
What does 2023 look like for ASM? Are you guys having plans already? Is there something that you're looking for? Where does ASM go from here?
You want to answer that, Tom? Me?
Go first.
I don't know if I can really say a lot of definites here, but there are some things we want to do. We'll continue doing some GLTC stuff. We're going to start doing maybe some more endurance stuff with some of the S2000s. We want to also continue doing some more drift, with Roberts, and I'm actually building a drift car myself. I want to eventually, hopefully, make my way into like the pro spec stuff. And then from a development side, we've got a couple new chassis we're hoping to maybe explore more. The S2000s are, obviously not being made anymore. Parts are getting hard to find. They're becoming collector cars. So the next chassis is definitely something we're exploring. Beyond that, we hopefully are going to do some more of our own events, hosting some track days, some of our driver's ed events where we try to teach, more of a driftish style of driving, get people to kind of, better understand the total car control aspect. But yeah, other than that, I really don't know.
No.
Everything's happening too.
That's valid. And I ask these type of questions because when you have this type of success, it's like, I know, I'm sure that it's tough to kind of like, okay, just kind of do it and repeat again because you had the success. But I ask these things because I'm genuinely curious. I think you guys have something special, especially with Tom as well. Tom being so dominant in that, I kind of wanted to ask this question. Tom, where do you go from here? Is it something that next year you're going to just repeat, or are you looking to move forward into something bigger? What is Tom's trajectory look like after being so dominant in this type of in GLTC?
I honestly don't know yet. I think that's part of the thing with having the group that we have. Like, everyone does have their individual goals, and we bit off a lot this year. And when everyone has their individual goals, we all want to like prop that up. So for example, Robert having personal goals to get into Formula Drift this year, or Andy's personal goals to get to there within the next 2 or whatever. Alex wants to do endurance racing. So everyone has ideas that then everyone feeds off of and gets involved in, which is helpful for me not knowing exactly what I want to do. I would love to keep racing GLTC, but I don't know that it would be super fulfilling to keep doing it in this car the same way we did this year, for many reasons. So like Andy said, talking like maybe new chassis along the way, that could bolster not only the ASM like prep shop side and build side of cars that, obviously S2000s get sent from all over the country at this point just for ASM work. What's the next car that's going to get that? Or and then start racing that. I also am super excited about the endurance racing. Just like we went to an endurance race this year, and I basically ran the pit lane I just happened to be the one that was standing there the most, and I kind of got my head around the strategy. And like, I didn't drive the car except for like 3 data laps, and I had some of the most fun that weekend that I had all year. So I'm excited for that kind of endeavor. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know, the part about taking all the, we bit off so much this year. I think we learned what worked and what didn't. So now we can like really prioritize the stuff that is good for business and good for ourselves, and then try to put things a little more cleanly in boxes. So we're not just like out all the time, all over the place, doing everything at the most we can give it at the time, but not necessarily at 100% all the time.
Yeah. And I'm probably just reaching here because I'm, why reinvent the wheel? Because you guys are so successful in what you do. At the end of the day, it's there. Be successful in it, right? But I like to play devil's advocate. And one of the things I always, we mentioned this with Tom, the car market is changing, and this is just a hypothetical, would ASM ever consider doing like an EV build? Have you ever considered that? Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Wow.
The more I keep reading about it, I'm very much, I want to learn. Like, that's really what drove me into this industry, is like the constant learning. So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, doing a lot of reading on EV stuff, and it's something I would love to do. It takes a bit commitment, so that's always kind of a real big struggle to juggle all these different things right now, with the business still being fairly new. That's growing, doing all the track stuff. So I mean, there's just so much going on. So it's at the point of I need to start prioritizing what direction I want to go a bit. So the desire's there, the time necessarily isn't.
Sweet.
But it hopefully soon.
So kind of to steer the conversation into a different direction, because I just basically wanted to kind of talk about that and ASM and yourselves, because honestly, congratulations to the both of you for an amazing season.
Yes,
and I kind of just wanted to put that out there and make that a part of the conversation. But I kind of want to get to know you guys a little bit better in a different direction, and there were some questions that we kind of had here that I think we asked Tom, but Andy, I'm very curious into how you got into cars. So for example, the question that I kind of wanted to go with is, what was your first car that got you into this whole realm of motorsports, and why?
The first car that probably got me actually into motorsports, because I've had a couple cars prior that I just had a car because I thought it was cool in high school. But the car that got me really into motorsports was probably it was a '97 Mustang Cobra.
Okay.
Back when I was 18.
Nice.
It was a car I bought from a local guy that was set up for road racing. So I mean, it was a supercharged Mustang, had all the suspension stuff, and that car is probably what got me a little curious about actually driving and driving the car on track. But I didn't really get to do a lot of driving with that car. The first car I probably started really learning to drive on was, I had a Subaru WRX at the time, just doing like solo autocross stuff, and I put in a lot of, I think I did like 20 some events in one season, 20 autocrosses, and that's where I think focused on learning to drive.
And that was actually going to be my next question. What was the first car that you went into motorsports with?
Subaru WRX.
I mean, yeah, of course. I feel like that's a very typical platform that a lot of people go into autocross with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now when you were transitioning to, like, what made you do GLTC? Like, what introduced you to GLTC?
So GLTC, so Gridlife, really. I started doing Gridlife events their first inaugural year. I ran across this event on Facebook called Gridlife, and it was just a time attack one-day event. I think they were selling like a time attack entry for $100 at Gingerman. So I'll just sign up. I had I had an 06 Evo at the time that I ran NASA events with, just doing time trial. So I went to a Gridlife event and did their time attack, and they had a very small concert that year, but just had a really good time at that event. And so from there on, like, I went to just did every single Gridlife event. And when they started doing the GLTC stuff, that caught my eye and kind of gave me, they gave a nice entry into that wheel-to-wheel racing.
Yeah.
So it was just easy to step up into that.
Yeah. Now, and so, kind of mentioning into you kind of going into drifting. Now, are you just aiming up in the beginning to just kind of do like Pro-Am events, kind of like do some 10Ks or 50Ks, something like that? Or are you looking like to go straight into like Formula Drift?
No, probably do some Pro-Am. I've done a couple years of drifting, just got a 350Z, nothing super crazy, but just did some low-key local drift events. But the plan is to hopefully do some more Pro-Am events this year, maybe get the Pro Spec license, and then do Pro Spec the following year.
Nice. How about you, Tom? You never considered doing some drifting? What's up? I feel like you would dominate too there.
Yeah.
No? He's like, no.
So I used to actually work, one of my like contract jobs that I like juggled to keep income was working for this marketing company that had a contract with Dodge, and we would give drift rides in Hellcats and Vipers for like years. So I have a ton of drifting time in like stock Hellcat Viper stuff, like super low speed little rinky dink parking lot things. So I was like, I'm very comfortable with drifting by myself. And I actually, the first time that Andy and I really probably spent some significant time together was when my engine blew up. He was like, go drift my car. Just like threw me in his drift car, that Z, and like made me get out of a bad mood.
Yeah.
So that was my first exposure to like enthusiast drifting. And then I would, go to the drift events with them. And I'm super intrigued by it. I'm fine drifting by myself. I kind of suck at like tandem, and I bought my own drift car from our friend Pete this year, and having my own drift car has made me kind of hate it. So I don't know, but like I bounced off of it this year, and I decided to just like let it be its own thing for now. And like I really wanted to focus on GLTC, just mentally, bandwidth wise. I felt like that was like the main thing I wanted to do. I don't know, I got a lot of work to do on drifting if I want to do it. But I find it super fun, and especially now that I've tried it, I respect the hell out of everybody that's good at it, because it's doing it by yourself is pretty easy, but doing it near other cars is really freaking hard.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting. That's it's probably my favorite motorsport. So it's an interesting way, but it's also judged awkwardly and weird sometimes too. It's a weird judging system when it comes to that. So I could understand sometimes it being a little bit different than wheel to wheel, where it's very clear and cut, you know what I mean? Where I feel like drifting sometimes isn't so, but, that's just my opinion.
Tom, I had a question for you. Oh, Andy,
go ahead, Andy.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with the drifting. It's being judged is not a measurable, performance. So it's a little different for us when we've jumped into the drift world. But honestly, I kind of like that aspect of it. It takes a little bit of the seriousness, edginess away that you get with, like what we've been used to. So kind of, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's definitely true.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that we kind of sit here and we watch Formula Drift because we sponsor a few drivers and whatnot, and sometimes we're just like, that was definitely more personal judgment than the actual judgment, because sometimes it's really close. These drivers are really good drivers, on top of the fact that you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's very close a lot of the times, but I don't know. I'm not going to talk too much trash, because then someone's going to watch this and then be like, yo, Koenig's talking trash.
Yeah. Well, all right. I had one question for Tom. So I think it was after Irwindale, because it was from the video. Maybe it was from a different location, but I thought it was after Irwindale. On the podium, I saw that you did a shoey.
Not
right?
Irwindale.
Was it not Irwindale? Was it?
No, Topeka.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're
all
confusing Formula Drift.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going crazy in my head. See, when you're talking about Formula Drift, see. But so on the podium you did a shoey, and I just wanted to know, was that like an in the moment thing, or was that like a normal celebration for you?
No, I'd never done one before, but I always wanted to, and they haven't given us champagne for like years. Mm-hmm. So they finally gave us champagne. I was like, I'm doing a shoey, and I'm also doing donuts, because I have always raced front wheel drive cars. Mm-hmm. You can't do donuts,
right?
So I wanted to do and I really wanted to do like reverse donuts, but I didn't have the balls to do it. I thought I'd get in trouble. So I had it all planned out. I told all the media people, but I didn't tell anybody that could tell me no, like organizational wise.
Yeah.
Wait, so whose
That's
shoe
great.
was that? Whose shoe was that? Was
My
that,
shoe.
That was your own shoe? Okay, good.
Well,
good.
you know, sometimes like people for shoeies, will get a shoe will get tossed to them. They'll
Yeah,
catch it
yeah,
and they'll just fill it up or something. But yeah, I was very curious about that.
I just was hoping it wasn't like Andy's shoe or something. Just say that.
It might have been might have been the first volunteer shoey, but all you taste is champagne.
Fair enough. That's good. You don't want to taste anything else.
So on the so just for curiosity, you know, on the off season, you know, because you guys have off season now, not just only
What off-season?
motorsports. You know, there is no off season, is it? But okay. So besides that, is there anything like you guys have any vacation plans? Is there something that you guys are doing that you're looking forward to, as opposed to just being on track, or it's just track is life?
Track is probably been very much life. This year has been maybe a bit too much at times, but I mean, the season's not really over for us. We've got a big endurance race coming up at Coda in 5-6 weeks, I think. But I mean, it's like currently still all prep for next year right now. I mean, we have to kind of start while we can and get as much done as we can.
How about you, Tom? What do you have in mind for the next until season starts again?
Well, that's the most fun about all this is like we still want to spend our time doing this. So other than sometimes like significant others and family dynamics and stuff, like this is kind of what we all picked to do anyway. These guys have had like a standing trip to Barber every January. That's really fun for a track weekend. So that kind of feels like a vacation because it's literally just go to Barber in the middle of January and drive at a track day.
Mm-hmm.
We're putting on like our own driver's ed training event this Saturday. So we're still trying to like come up with, PRI. I think one of our cars will be in a booth at PRI. I'll just say that. So we have to put it down. So all that stuff for me is super fun.
Ice racing.
Oh, and then ice racing. Yeah. Tell 'em about it.
Ice racing.
What's ice racing?
So I don't know where you guys are, but by us, the lakes freeze over and we get about 12-15 inches of ice on top of the lakes. So we make a racetrack out of it.
What?
And we do
I've
that
never heard of
through the
this.
months of.
That's pretty cool. I gotta come check it out. One of these
That
days.
sounds awesome.
That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
dangerous, but
Dude, it's so fun.
he said it's
So fun.
All right.
You drive down like a public landing onto the frozen lake
Uh-huh.
after you connect it with a drill bit, right? That it's 10 inches, 12 inches, whatever. And some of us just run some of us have studded tires. So you have you literally like hand drilled bolts
Uh-huh.
and you like create your own studded tires, like thousands of bolts at a time. As long as I hold it, you go forever pretty much. And then other people just run rubber. And last year we paved out or we cleared out a scale model of Gingerman Raceway. So like people run laps at Gingerman on the lake. Like it's so fun.
What the
That's crazy. Wow.
talk about just throw out the whole what is it, the simulation drift? They're just building their own tracks.
That's right.
on
That's
ice.
right. Yeah, people are doing sim racing and stuff, but they just go out there and make their own track. It's
Yep.
crazy.
You can do it any time of the day.
That's
you drive
crazy.
all night long.
That's awesome.
All right. So this is the last question to kind of, I kind of wanted to get this out of you guys. So, writing down in your last event, if you could choose one song to blast on 10, what song would that be? Each of you. You give me one song. You have to think of one song, and it's just like you just hear like which song is that for you?
Can I say it first?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead, Andy.
Are you fine?
Phantom Racer.
Phantom. How about you, Andy? How about you?
Tom, your
Tom.
He stole mine. No, it's Phantom Racer. By,
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's why he said it first, because
Yeah.
he knew it was gonna come. He
Dude,
knew it was
it's the
gonna
best pump up song ever. It's so silly, but it's such a good song. It gets me to like 11 every single time. They played it full. One of the guys working grid at the last race, he had like a boombox that he was carrying through grid. So I requested he put it on, and he's like full volume boombox, like carrying this thing through the grid. It's like
Nice.
this 80s like speed racer campy song. It made my whole life. It was so good.
Well, guys,
But-
go ahead.
What's
Oh.
your real one? You have a real one, Andy?
I'd have to think about it too much. That's the only song that comes to mind.
How about
It's the
you?
team theme song.
Me?
Yeah, what song would you put on?
Oh man, I have no idea. Yeah. What about you, man? I don't know.
It would definitely look. You can never go wrong with Drake. Real song, any Drake song, and I'm on. So, yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Drake is the Michael Jackson of my era. I don't care.
How does that even make any sense?
I'll shut this mic
make
off. I
any
don't care. That's the
sense.
truth for me, bro.
They're not even the same.
All right, now we're just having our own arguments. But
Yeah.
guys, we just wanted to say thank you so much for jumping on with us. Thank you for having this conversation with us. We're honestly honored that you guys even ride on our wheels. Honestly, we mention this all the time. You know, Andy, this is the first time we got to meet you, but off of just the strength of what Tom has told us about you, we are completely honored that you're on our wheels, that you even want to run with us. You know, so thank you so much, and congratulations on an amazing season to everyone from you, Matt, Rob, everyone at ASM. Honestly, we just want to offer you the complete support that we can give you, but also say congratulations and always know that we're here if you need anything from us.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Our teammate Alex saw his heliograms and was like, I need those like now.
Hey.
Get me a set.
Tom, I already told you, whenever you're ready, we'll suit up the whole team. So that's all. I'm just waiting for you guys to be like, hey,
Perfect.
let's do it. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and you guys have a good one. And oh, by the way, I was gonna ask you guys going to SEMA? No.
Nope.
No
Ah.
SEMA for me. No.
All right. Well, next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, and you guys have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, man. So as I mentioned, there's two of the coolest dudes you could ever meet. You know, I'm actually just excited to have a conversation. That's the reason why I kind of wanted to have them, because I think, you know, guys like that, they don't get as much. Well, especially someone like Andy, because Tom, you know, Tom is a very outgoing personality. He's always willing to talk and have a conversation, but there's always that person behind the person. And I think Andy's one of those people that, you know, you could just tell he's one of those like unsung heroes.
Yeah,
types.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So I was just excited to have him on to tell us a little bit about his story. I do want to go into more of a deep dive of, you know, about him, you know, but you know, I know that it was a quick podcast, so I didn't want to kind of bombard him with questions, but I was just happy to have him on, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Such a dominant force, and I don't know, it's really cool to have guys like that, you know,
Who are
representing
all
the
about
brand.
it,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Representing the brand as
Yeah,
well,
it's
too, man.
cool.
It's just an honor for me, for sure. But what are we having on Friday, by the way?
Friday we're doing sponsorship.
That's right.
Right.
So we're doing a wheel about how to be sponsored in 2022, 2023. The reason why we're doing this is because literally you guys constantly ask us. Now, we have made videos in the past, but I think we never really did it in depth like we're going to do with this video. We also want to kind of explain the perspective, because a lot of the times we do explain how it is to be sponsored in motorsports, but I think people don't really hear the grand scope of things, because at the end of the day, it's all similar. You know, I think when you're making, one thing that we never get is a proposal.
Right.
So that's the one thing that we talk about. And when you're building that proposal, what exactly to put in that proposal is what we are going to have this discussion in this video about, which is kind of give you direction on how to build a strong proposal, and if it's specific to a company, how to kind of put that on paper, you know. And I know it's not easy, so hopefully what we deliver to you guys is helpful.
Right. And then next week we won't be here.
We won't be here. We'll be doing a podcast most likely from SEMA. So, by the way, if you're on this podcast and you're listening to us and you're at SEMA, come stop by the booth. We're at 44063 in the South Lower Hall. South Hall Lower. You know, come check us out. We have some new stuff that we're going to probably be revealing even through our social media as well, doing some email blasts and whatnot, because we have some new wheels, guys, and we're going to be revealing them for you guys. So, yeah, that's all, you know. That's how the cookie crumbles. Whatever. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you coming here every Wednesday. Make sure to tune in every Wednesday at 3 p.m. EST right here on our YouTube channel, as well as we go live on Instagram at 2 p.m. where we answer any question that you want to throw at us, even down to what exactly food we like. You know, if you want to ask us that, we'll answer it as well. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Peace.